Moving out of your hometown is the best decision you'll ever make for a variety of reasons, but it's mainly because it's going to transform you into a different person. And it all stems from this right here. Your environment makes you or breaks you. It's like the saying, you are who you surround yourself by. The same principle applies for your environment. Things like the weather, the geography, the girls, the people, all of that matters a lot more than someone would initially think. So we're going to be breaking that down today.
I know we have a lot on the whiteboard. We got a lot of compare and contrast graphs and the entire circuit that I'm going to lay out for you guys, all coming from yours truly.
So starting things off, what is this actually called? I coined this the triple B method, or busted birds or bombshells. I made the name up 5 minutes ago. It's something that I've been thinking about for years, but I just wanted to coin a last minute term and I didn't know what to come up with. So we're going off the dome ski here. I'm going to be using myself as the example for today's video, but obviously I want you to be thinking about how you can apply this to your own life. Currently, I live in Washington, D.C. on the East Coast, and I've lived here pretty much my entire life. And it's cool, you know, I'm very grateful for my come up, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like about D.C., right? The birds are ugly, and all the hot ones are already taken, and I'm not trying to compete with the 6'4" Lockheed Martin engineer, so we're gonna pass on that. The weather here is shit for about 6 months out of the year, and that's half of my existence per year. I want it to be, you know, a better number than that. And then the area is too political. I plan on moving to Austin, Texas next year, and I wanted to talk about why I'm making the move and how this decision I know is gonna level me up, and I want you to be able to apply that to yourself. Why did I choose Austin? Well, hella baddies, rockets galore, it's the land of milk and honey. At least from what I've been told. I'm taking a trip out there soon, so I'll find out for myself. Video on that soon. Also, good weather. Every single month since the beginning of 2026, Virginia, where I live, has had dog shit weather for the most part. We've had like 3 80-degree days followed up by 30 degrees the next day. I don't even know how the fuck that's possible, right? And good food. There's actually good food in our area too, but I'm a big fan of Hispanic food, so it's a win for me. You might be asking yourself, how does moving cities correlate to being a better person and evolving and leveling up? Because that's probably the end goal for you, and I know it's the end goal for me. All of these different factors determine your habits, determine your routine, your lifestyle, the people you're surrounded by. For example, in places where the weather's warmer, you usually have a lot more fun stuff to do outside, like the beach, like hiking. And that typically means if you're gonna go do those things with your shirt off, you have to take care of your body. So we have healthier people, which means hotter chicks and more competition as a guy, which is a good thing. You know, when I see dudes that are jacked, I'm like, fuck man, all right, I'm gonna hit the gym twice as hard for the whole week. And if you're surrounded by that constantly, that effort's gonna leak into not only your health, but all aspects of your life.
Food's kind of a given, and I'm just warm-blooded. I fucking hate the cold, so this is a personal decision. If you like the winter, you're weird, but you know, do you.
So you need to obviously compare where you live now to your goal destination. You obviously have to think about the logistics, but that's a separate video. Think about the pros and cons of where you're at and the pros and cons of where you want to go. And weigh them out and kind of think about, is this going to be a worthwhile decision? Take a trip out there like I'm going to do, scout it out, and feel out the vibes. Because a change of environment can be a good thing, even if you live in a good place like Miami or LA or New York or whatever. Sometimes just moving to a different place that's also popping is gonna get your blood flowing again. It's gonna get your energy up. The competition is fresh, it's new. The chicks are fresh and new. And I mean, for ladies that are watching this, the 1 or 2 that maybe ever watch this, you know, think about the dudes, right? Washington, D.C. has a lot of chuds, and Texas probably has a lot less chuds. I don't know, I'm just assuming. But yeah, and when you live in a place with just a better pool of individuals, many aspects of your life are gonna increase, right? You know, if you live in a place with a bunch of studs, you'll end up being friends with studs and you're gonna get in better shape. Same thing with the chicks or the opposite sex that you're into, right? If there's hotter, you know, people that you're into there's a better chance you end up with someone that you actually like, because we're gonna dispel the bullshit rumors that it's all about personality. It is mainly, but bro, I'm not trying to date no chungus, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all that. And you aren't either, so don't lie to yourself. These things matter. A good example of what an environment change can do for you, I'll walk you through it. It was my 21st birthday. I was with a couple of my boys and we were at Penn State waiting in line to go to Champs, lit bar by the way, right? And in the line, one of my boys, Hans, is with me and he points out this fat, balding, obese white guy, probably like our age, waiting in line. And he's like, yo, check that out. I look over, it's an absolute chud. I'm no Marlon, right? But I'm a solid like 5 or 6, right? I can do what I can, right? This dude is like a 3 out of 10, obese, balding, like all of this shit with an absolute rocket. And then I start to notice, I looked for it for the rest of my trip in Penn State, hella mid guys were with the baddest hoes. And I was like, okay, like what's not computing here, right? Because like, if back home where I'm from, it takes effort if you want a bad bitch. If we're talking statistics and mathematics and the ratios and putting the numbers together like we're Einstein, right? Then you're gonna realize if there's an excess of hot chicks, they got no one else to go to but the people that are in their area, the dudes in the area, right? So that's why those fat chuds were with these absolute rockets. Maybe not all of them. Maybe Brody had a hammer or a good personality, but a lot of the times it's really just a numbers game. So if you live in a place with a shitty dating pool, fucking move. Next thing I want to break down for you is this graph labeled the circuit. Essentially, this is representing my version of the circuit theory. So the circuit theory is that people are no different than birds. Birds migrate south or somewhere warm and beautiful whenever their home is shitty, right? Humans, I believe, are not very different than that. You know, we want to go where the action's happening, where the cool people are, where the cool things are, right? So the circuit is essentially broken into 4 quarters of the year where the weather determines what's going down. And a circuit is a place with electricity flowing through it. I'm not talking a power grid. I'm talking vibes, good people, good music, good food, parties, good things to do, opportunities to build yourself up as a better person. Those all comprise a circuit. What is an example of a circuit?
Chicago, Boston, New York City, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, Tokyo, Japan, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, Barcelona, Spain.
Right? All of these places have a draw to them. People want to go there for one reason or another. So you see the circuit and it's broken down into these 4 quarters. So we're going to use my location as an example, Washington, D.C. on the East Coast. For Q1 of Washington, this place fucking sucks. January through March, the weather is dog shit. The only thing you could really say is the cherry blossoms, and that shit's old because Japan does it better anyway. So there's not much going on, and there's not really a big reason to be in my area in the first quarter of the year. Then you move down to Q2, April, May, and June. You know, we're in spring, we're punching that front door of summer. Things are starting to heat up. People are going hiking again. People are doing all these things. They're walking their dogs. The birdies are out, right? This is a better time. Q3 for my area, July, August, September, probably the best time to be here. It's warm, the vibes are immaculate. You got soft house if you want to go turn up. You got tons of stuff to do. And my birthday's in September, so it's goated. And then Q4, this one's a bit tricky because this one really shakes things up for everybody because it's holiday season, at least in America. You got Halloween in October, Thanksgiving in November, and then Christmas in December or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, whatever your deal is, right? So Q4 is kind of a good time to be anywhere as long as you're with people. The main point I'm trying to make is that Washington, D.C., my area, in my opinion, it's best to be here during Q3 and Q2. Q1 sucks, and Q4 is pretty much good anywhere because of the holidays, right? So that begs the question, what do people do in these quarters where it's not as ideal to live here? They go somewhere else, right? They vacation so they can get away from the cold, or they celebrate the holidays with their family overseas. The main thing I'm trying to get across to you is you want to live in a place that has as many useful quarters as possible. And what do I mean by useful? People want to be there during that time. The reason Austin, Texas beats out Washington, D.C. when I apply the circuit theory is because it's warm in Q2, it's warm in Q1, it's warm in Q3. It's actually probably a little bit hot, but it's also warm in Q4. It's warm all year round. There's cool people all year round, right? It's a much better place and there's a lot more draw to it than Washington, D.C., which in my opinion is only active during Q2 and Q3. So why not live in a place that's going to give you the most amount of time that you can actually use to do what you like? Now, obviously the caveat here is people are different and they enjoy different things. If you're a winter person, my argument completely flies out the window and I'm happy to acknowledge that. I'm talking to my summer people here, my warm-blooded folks. You know, I want to live somewhere where it's warm most of the year, at least 3 of the 4 quarters. right? You don't want somewhere where it's only half, or God forbid, only one. No, you're not going to be able to extract the maximum amount of life out of life if you're fucking stuck indoors chud maxing, right? Which is unfortunately what I do during Q1 and part of Q4, because it's cold, it's rainy, it fucking sucks, it's snowy, and it's not my vibes, right? I don't like that. So I stay at home, I'm playing Tarkov till 6 in the morning, I'm drinking a lot more, like it's bad. And you know, that's a personal thing too, but like fuck off, I'm trying to explain a point here. A lot of yammering, and I know I'm all over the place with the graphs and the way I speak. I'm like basically fucking manic all the time. My ADHD brain is just, that shit's running OT 24/7. But I hope what I'm saying at least makes a little bit of sense. Your environment really does make or break you guys. So go somewhere where you can extract the most out of the environment itself, whether it's the weather or the people or the activities and opportunities. Go to the place that's going to allow you to be the best version of yourself. That's the real message of today's video. I know I can be a little bit crude and kind of stupid in the way that I come off when I'm explaining shit, and I'm a very fucking hand talker, right? So that's basically the busted birds or bombshells theory colliding with the circuit theory. That's a bunch of buzzwords, but the message, hopefully you got it. And if you didn't, you're shit out of luck. Keep chud maxing and eating fucking McDonald's all day. You know, couldn't be me, right? Peace out, y'all.